Discover how to style a Beatrix Potter-inspired spring farmhouse home without spending much. Hi friends, I'm Emma, and welcome back to Decor, the little nook on YouTube where we breathe life into spaces with calm, cozy inspiration, and just the right touch of whimsy. I believe that interior decorating should feel like a quiet joy, not a chore. It's a way of storytelling through textures, colors, and cherished pieces, without the pressure to buy everything new or follow trends that don't feel like home. Today's video is close to my heart, because it blends the simple sweetness of springtime with the nostalgic charm of one of my favorite childhood authors, Beatrix Potter. If you've ever dreamed of creating a spring farmhouse look that feels like it belongs in a countryside cottage, filled with Peter Rabbit charm, vintage textures, and blooming quiet corners, you're in the right place. And the best part? We're going to do it all without spending much. So grab your tea, settle into your softest chair, and let's begin. When I think of Beatrix Potter, I don't just think of rabbits in blue coats. I think of watercolor illustrations, gentle hedgerows, crooked fences, and mossy garden paths. That entire world she painted with her stories can be brought into your home, using what you likely already have, or can thrift on a dime. Start with your color palette. For a Beatrix-inspired spring farmhouse, think soft earth tones, sage greens, warm creams, faded sky blue, dusty pinks, and warm browns. These colors evoke nature, the English countryside, and that timeless sense of rustic charm. You don't need to repaint your entire room. Just bring those tones in with pillow covers, floral print tea towels, maybe even a gently worn quilt draped over the sofa. Even small changes, like a green striped napkin or an old botanical print pinned to the wall, can begin to create that layered storybook feeling. Next, let's talk about texture. Because Beatrix Potter's world is anything but flat. Her stories feel tactile, and we want to mimic that in our decor. Think worn wood, rustic baskets, ceramic pitchers, and linens that have been softened by years of use. Pull out that old basket you haven't used since fall, and fill it with fresh garden clippings or artificial florals from the dollar store. Dig through your linen drawer for old napkins or fabric scraps you can turn into charming little runners. If you have a wooden crate, use it to display books or tuck it under a bench filled with slippers. The goal is to create an environment that feels layered, comfortable, and unpolished, like it evolved over time. It's not about perfection, it's about warmth and familiarity. One of my favorite ways to bring in Beatrix Potter's spirit is by styling storybook vignettes. On a shelf, windowsill, or side table, gather a few sweet small elements. A tiny ceramic bunny, a teacup with a chipped rim, a stack of floral-bound books. Add a sprig of dried lavender or thyme, maybe a small framed print of a garden scene, or even a hand-sketched label. These vignettes create moments of pause in your home, little scenes that invite you to slow down and smile. And remember, you don't need official Beatrix Potter figurines. Anything soft and natural that whispers countryside spring will do the trick. It's more about the feeling than the literal details. And speaking of books, they are a huge part of the charm. Stack them, display them open to illustrations, use them to elevate a candle or cradle a teacup. Thrift stores are full of floral and nature-themed vintage books. Look for titles with linen covers or slightly yellowed pages. Even if they're not Beatrix Potter stories, they'll still give you that lovely Old English cottage vibe. I once found a garden journal from the 60s with hand-pressed flowers still tucked inside, and it instantly became the centerpiece of my coffee table. Books hold memories, and when you use them in your decor, it feels like you're inviting stories to live in your home. Let's wander into the kitchen now, one of the easiest places to infuse that spring farmhouse energy. Hang a floral apron on a hook, place fresh or faux herbs in mismatched jars, and bring out the vintage plates and teacups that usually stay hidden. A small stack of white dishes next to a wooden spoon in a crock is all you need. If you have an old cutting board or enamel teapot, even better. And don't underestimate the power of scent. Simmering a bit of rosemary and lemon on the stove fills the room with a cottage garden feeling that's absolutely free. It's about delighting all the senses, just like Beatrix Potter delighted us with her words and art. Now outside. Or if you don't have a yard, your front step or balcony will do. Add a little flower box, a terracotta pot with faux blooms, or a vintage watering can with dried eucalyptus stems. I love tucking tiny garden tools into displays. They don't need to be usable. Just the suggestion of a life spent pottering among plants brings the whole aesthetic together. If you're lucky enough to have a real garden, even better. But for the rest of us, a little nod to outdoor life on a small scale makes all the difference. One of my favorite styling tricks? Fill a pair of kids' rubber boots with fresh flowers and place them by the door. Pure joy. Don't forget the walls. This is where so much charm can be added without spending a thing. Print out vintage Beatrix Potter illustrations from copyright-free resources and frame them with thrifted frames. You could also hang pressed flowers or make a simple garland using twine and cut-out bunny silhouettes. Layer soft floral fabrics behind open shelves or drape a little lace curtain in front of a cabinet. This touch of whimsy makes the space feel like a living storybook, one where bunnies and bluebirds just might be hiding around the corner. As we wrap up, I want you to know that the heart of this style isn't the decor itself, it's the intention behind it. A Beatrix Potter-inspired spring farmhouse home isn't about themed decorations or picture-perfect styling. It's about the quiet joy of creating a space that feels gentle, familiar, and rooted in the beauty of everyday things. It's about celebrating spring not with grandeur, but with tenderness. You don't need to spend much. In fact, spending less invites more creativity and meaning into the pieces you choose to display. Thank you so much for spending this peaceful moment with me here at Decor. If today's video inspired you to bring a little Beatrix Potter magic into your home, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Which corner will you start with? What treasures will you use? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a bit of springtime joy. Until next time, I'm sending you warm wishes for calm days, creative hands, and a home that tells the gentlest story.